Good morning. Good morning. How we doing out there? Who's got some energy to bring to this call? Who's got something going good in their world? Not everybody at once this morning. It is Friday. Not everybody at once. I will share what's going good in my world. I made a commitment on my health and wellness journey to increase some pliability. So I've been really working on the stretching, which is it's difficult for me to do because it takes a little bit more patience. I don't feel like I can play my music while I'm stretching, so it's got a more of a relaxation time for me. I'm struggling a little bit, but I'm forcing myself to do it. It's been feeling good. So that's what's going good in my world. We are dividing up our 60 minutes into 20 minutes of weight training, 20 minutes of cardio, and 20 minutes of stretching. So maybe I be a little calmer on these calls, finishing off with some stretching. So nobody else, anything going good? I have some New Year's resolutions. You guys are working on stuff. What do we have out there? Nobody has a New Year's resolution that you want to share? Something you're working on? All right. Well, it is Finance Friday. Oh, we got something, Martin. What do you got, buddy?
I'm just gonna try to do better on my social media because I really don't do social media. So this year I'm gonna really try hard to push out the social media.
I love it. I love it. I think, I mean, if there's an area that I think you could have, the two areas I think you could make the biggest delta in your business would be social and AI. I think, there's a lot of foundational stuff that we're going to be working on throughout the year. Make sure each little part of your business is going good. But I think those are the two things that can make the biggest delta: is social and your utilization of AI tools. So I love it. Um, when it comes to Finance Fridays, it looks like our lenders did not. I don't know if they joined us. I didn't see them. I don't see any of them or either of them on this morning. But one thing I will tell you that I was just working on over break because I just have my reminder is just some automation on the things that we can fund into our retirement plans. So obviously, we're not we don't have our traditional employer 401k match stuff, but some sort of an automation into your traditional IRA, if you wanted to do something like that. Obviously, talk to your accountant to see, what's the best thing for you. But I think most of us should be able to contribute 7,000 into that fund. If you're over 50, I think it's 8,000 a year. So just investing to me has always been difficult. So if I don't do the set it and forget it, if you're just trying to do it all the time, it's just not going to happen. And a year goes by and you haven't made those small little deposits. Instead you maybe spent that money. So pulling, Vanguard is what I use. If you're looking for a recommendation, it just makes it super easy to just set it up. They are super low on fees. And have it come right out of your checking and make a monthly deposit. You can always stop it at any point. Um, but having it on auto, I just think it makes a lot of sense and it just makes it easy. So I don't know if anybody else has anything, personal finance related or tax related this time of year, since we can, open up Finance Friday to anything along those lines. Anybody have any questions about how to do something, or maybe a share? Hey, I learned this and I've been doing it annually, quarterly, monthly, daily, weekly, whatever the case might be.
Just our stocks, Steve. Just in 1 year at Real, I have $41,000 in those stocks. So once you cap, you have to put in 10%. It's 5% before you cap, and then they match 5% of that 5%. And now the same thing with the 10%. So that grows fast.
Yep. So, I know everybody isn't necessarily comfortable with stocks, and stocks don't always go up, but the real stock has done well in the in recent years. So I got to be careful about saying to invest in stocks, just because they can go up and down, and there's no guarantee that they go up. But the nice little thing is Real does give you a little extra kicker if you do it. And so once you, I mean, just so you guys know that are with Real, if you wanted to take that option, once you select it, you can't just say on this deal, I want to put in this amount of money, and this deal, I want to put in this amount of money. It's 5% pre-cap, 10% post-cap. It's coming out no matter what. So once you commit, you're committed. And you can turn it off or on, I believe, once a year. So you can, you get months through the year and you're like, oh shit, I really need the money in my savings account, right? You could turn it off. So, and alternatively, if you don't want to be committed to just doing it on every single deal, you can always just say, hey, you know what? Let me see how my year goes. Let me save some money. And, at the first quarter mark, second quarter mark, third quarter mark, I'm just going to go out and buy the stock. You can always just buy it. You don't have to do the automatic plan. Right. So at any point you could just say, hey, I think I want to try and do this. So those are my thoughts on that. Anybody have any questions regarding that? Mark?
Well, we can't do that till our first year, though, correct? Am I thinking correctly?
No, you could opt in at any point. Right.
Okay.
So with our deal, most agents are coming over with that cap deferral thing, which doesn't allow you to do it. But at any point, you could just say, hey, you know what? I really want to do this. And you can opt out of that. Yeah.
And when you do opt out, you can only opt back in at your anniversary date. So I did opt out like 3/4 of the way in, and then I just started again on November 1st.
Yeah. Look, I know investing in stocks can get, a lot of people can get nervous about it, and so I think for most people, like if you look at the general population of Real agents, most of them don't do it. They keep the money and invest it how they see fit, whether that's into your IRA or into, your just general savings account. But for those of you guys that like doing stocks and, are a little bit maybe of a risk taker, stock has done well. So any other questions regarding that, or any other personal finance? Anybody, done any research, tried something that you'd want to share, or just have a general question, finance related? All right. All right. So I had the next kind of line item, as I'm using this kind of agent growth tracker as my gauge for the year and building out these modules. The next topic I had was writing offers. So I thought maybe we would use that as just a kind of a guide for today. The first thing that I have on the list, and I'll share it up on the screen. Let's see if anybody's doing anything different, or let's see. Get it shared out there. So it's our offer presentation email. So this kind of breaks down what's going on with your offer. And we hear it time and time again. And I hope that none of you guys, that when we are listing agents, we just get a PDF of an offer come to our email with no explanation, no phone call, no nothing. So this offer presentation email just is a nice, easy way for you to set the ground rules for what you're presenting. And you just can add or remove different little line items as you see fit based on your clients, right? So, in our template here, we have that the first thing is that they have a conventional mortgage. If your people have a conventional mortgage, that's something that you should be explaining to the other side the benefits of, right? So no messy FHA appraisal. Now, whenever we talk FHA, I always want to remind everybody, if you have a client that's FHA, if you can get them approved conventional, and you could tell the other side, hey, they could also go conventional, they're choosing to go FHA, it's a better deal for them. right? So we are going to have to deal with FHA appraisal, but I just want to let you know this isn't, these are more qualified than a typical FHA buyer. They could have gone conventional. They're choosing to go FHA for whatever reason they might be choosing to do so. Point out if they're not asking for closing costs. How big is their deposit? Hey, we've got a solid deposit on this one. They're ready to proceed as fast as possible, right? So no home sale contingency, etc. What else do we have? They'll be using my preferred inspection company, which I've worked with, right? So this is a little line item, but it's a big deal, right? If you're a listing agent and you've done this for a while, you know that an inspection company can kill these deals. So hearing from the other agent, hey, they're using the company that I recommend, that I do business with, that I know is going to help us to not scare off the buyer. These are little details that the listing agent needs to know. They'll be using one of my preferred attorneys, right? Another reason that this deal is going to go smooth. I know this attorney. I know they communicate well. And same thing with the preferred lender. Let's just stop there. Anything that you guys are including in as far as stuff about your buyer to just kind of help get your deals through? Just first of all, show of hands, how many people have a template like this that you are using to do your offer submission? So you don't have to rewrite this every time. Okay. I mean, if every time that you are presenting an offer, you're having to rewrite all this stuff, you're going to forget stuff. You're going to forget to tell the other side. So just keep it simple, make it easy on yourself. But let's stop there. Is anybody including anything else in their offer presentation? Email. I mean, the email goes on to say what's attached: offer, my agency, my pre-approval, my proof of funds. But here's all the docs. But anything else that you're putting in this email to kind of lay groundwork that, hey, you should accept this offer. Adam, your hand's still up. I'm assuming it's just lingering. You don't have anything to contribute. How about as listing agents
to contribute?
What's that?
I said I always got something to contribute. So primarily a listing agent. So there's a huge difference when an agent. There's definitely been situations where I've had a house for sale and someone sends me an email with an offer, and it goes into junk, right? So it's rare, but it happens. So I mean, unless there's a reason not to, every time you submit an offer with a buyer, it should be a phone call to that agent. Hey, sent it a couple hours ago. Want to make sure it didn't go into spam. And then just start a little conversation. I mean, there's no question I'm more comfortable with offers where I got a chance to speak with the agent, see that they're proactive, just see how they handle themselves. And then it's your opportunity to pitch your client and sell your client and have that little rapport building. So I would always follow this email up with an actual phone call to that agent, or at least at minimum, a text confirming that the offer. It blows my mind how many people will submit me offers and no follow-up to make sure I got it. So just a little tip there.
Yeah. I think that this email also ends with, hey, you're going to find that working with me is extremely organized and professional, right? I just closed on X with your office, right? With somebody from your office, if that happened, right? And that could be within the past year. Hey, talk to Johnny in your office. I just did a deal with them. If you don't believe me, I get shit done. Anybody want to chime in with something that as a listing agent, you're seeing other agents do that we need to add to the template, add as an attachment? What else can we do to help get our offers accepted? Lauren.
Send one PDF file with everything. Don't attach 5 different things, or I forgot to send something, so I'm sending a follow-up email with an extra document. Press them all to one PDF. It is so much easier to open. It is like a first look into your professionalism, your attention to detail. And then second thing I think you can include here, right, is if you're really like, hey, give me last at bat. I think you put it in here, you reiterate it, when you're having that conversation with the listing agent. But I think having it, kind of in writing here that, hey, come back at me, right? We can do kind of a little bit better all around, if you're willing to give us that opportunity to do so. So those are kind of my two big ones with offers. I hate getting piecemealed ones. It's terrible.
Yep. Good. The other thing that's coming to mind that we're not talking about in here, but I love three-way text. So I would love for you guys to be, hey, Mr. Listing Agent, I just wanted to I just submitted my offer, putting you on a text message with my lender. My lender's going to be reaching out to you. These guys are super qualified, right? And now you're kind of putting the lender on the spot. Like, dude, I need you to call this guy. So get your lenders involved. This is another reason why you want to be using preferred lenders, because you need that lender to call. And what we're doing with all of this is we're trying to take some of the stress and anxiety off the listing side, whether that's the listing agent, that's the seller, that this deal is going to close. We might be 1,000 or 2 less, but right out of the gate, we got to show I'm a closer. My clients are ready to close. I've got all my preferred parties involved. They're all ready to close this deal. I got my lender, I got my inspector, I got my attorney. This is going to close. That's what a listing agent wants to know, that this deal is getting to the closing table. Right? So if you're going to piecemeal or you're not going to do all this stuff, you're not going to get as many offers accepted. Lauren.
We just had a deal get accepted that was, I want to say, not even close, but several thousand under the highest offer. But the lender had sent in a pre-underwritten, right? So they were just waiting for the actual address. They could order or appraisal and title on this. But then that lender also gave a guarantee, this is so solid that if we don't close, we are going to give a bonus to the seller as well as a bonus to the list agent. Right. So even though they were lower on price, they were like, hey, if this doesn't work, we've got, this little guarantee behind it. So that definitely won for that agent in the situation, though they weren't highest price.
Great. Right. Who else? What else are you doing? What else have you seen? All right, so that's the offer presentation. Get your emails down, get your texts down, do three-way texts, get your conversations down. Let's see what else I had in this one. Actually, why don't we stop there? I didn't just kind of open it up at the midway point here. Did anybody have something going on a deal, learn something, want to share something? Just get an offer accepted. Here's how I did it. Hey, this is weird. It just happened on my deal. Watch out for this. Lauren.
Sorry, last idea around pre-offer is the pre-offer conversation to have with the list agent as well, right? You should always be having a conversation with the listing side before we're writing up our offer. It's going to allow us a lot of information that we can then bring back to our buyer clients on what the sellers are looking for as far as, dates, terms, things like that within the offer. So then we know that we're putting them on paper, kind of what they want to see, setting us up for a win. So there should always be conversation before the offer as well as after the offer is submitted.
Yeah, so a couple of things. So we have a document on this, on what are those questions to ask. So I've got that pulled up. Let me see if I can share this as well. Is it this one? So, obviously just ask straight up, are there any other offers on the property? Right? I think the other agent a lot of time may exaggerate. Yeah, we got a couple other offers, or we've got a bunch of offers being submitted or whatever, but you want to know what you're up against. Second question, has the property previously been under agreement and fallen apart? Right? Ask about why it might have fallen apart. Was it finance? Was it inspections? Was it cold feet? What was it? And then is there something that you can then counter that with? Hey, it was financing. Hey, you know what? I completely get it. I've had deals fall apart before financing. That's why I always use my preferred. This buyer's using my preferred. You know what? Let me just put you on a conversation. I'll get a text message started. I want you to talk to my lender. These guys are super solid. It's already pre-underwritten. The lender's got a guarantee if it doesn't close, whatever the case might be, depending on how strong your buyer is. Because right now, that listing agent is just nervous that the next one's going to fall apart because of financing. And they're more likely to go not with the highest offer, but the one that's sure that the finance is not going to fall through. Because that listing agent also has to go back to the seller and explain, hey, here's why I think we should go with this one. I know you guys were super bummed that the first one fell apart because of the financing, but I made sure that I worked with this agent that this one's got solid financing. That's not going to happen on this one. Right? If it's inspection issues, hey, you know what? I completely get it. I've had deals fall apart because of inspection too. Just want to let you know, my buyers, this is the third house they've bought. They've been through the inspection process. I've got my inspector on this deal. Like this can be solid. Like these guys aren't going to back out because of, weird little things. These guys are professional buyers. They've bought before, if that's the case. And then just asking about the terms. What's the best closing date? Is there anything else that the buyer could do to strengthen the offer? Are they nervous? When we toured the house, we saw there was a lot of stuff in there. Are they nervous about having to get that place cleaned out? Or do you even ask them about, are they nervous? And a lot of times you got a listing agent who really doesn't know how to do their job, hasn't asked those questions, and don't realize that the sellers are freaking out about having to get their house cleaned out. Right, so start those conversations. Hey, we noticed there's a lot of stuff at this house. Did you have a conversation with your sellers about what their process is going to be to get it emptied out? Because I talked to my buyers, they're willing to take it with everything in there if that would help you out. Adam, go ahead.
So just on that note, kind of the opposite conversation with the buyer, and obviously this is going to take some getting used to, but when you're going through a house and you see, knob and tube wiring, you see asbestos pipes, you see an old boiler, you see an older roof, your buyer should never be surprised at an inspection on things like that I could walk you guys around a house one time and show you how to point out. Right. So I can only tell you how I would feel if a agent called me and said, hey, Adam, we're submitting an offer. I spent an hour at the house. They're aware of the asbestos. They're aware that the roof is 20 years old. Their buddy's a roofer. Looks like you upgraded the electrical panel. That was good. But we saw some knob and tube. They're okay with that as well. So the things that I feel an inspection should be for is stuff that's, the leaky pipes, maybe the outlets aren't working, things that require a mechanical test, because you want to try to keep these deals together and you want to set expectations with your buyers on what's going on. Like there's nothing that frustrates me more than an agent saying, hey, buyer's backing out. They didn't realize the roof was as old as it is. And it's like, come on, it's the first thing you see when you walk up to the house. So make sure you're doing more than just showing the pretty stuff of the house. Once you get more comfortable with houses, more comfortable with your buyers, so that you've got a better chance of getting past inspections. And it's okay to make an offer that's lower that reflects that, because as the listing agent, I'd be perfectly fine potentially accepting a lower offer, knowing those conversations were already had.
Yeah, and if you're not comfortable with the parts of a house, we do have a whole course on that. It's like a PowerPoint presentation, walks you through the entire parts of a house. Like you guys should know that inside and out. I don't know, if you're not at Real or with Team Rovi or whatever, and you need that, please let us know. Happy to send that your way. But you got to know the difference between, forced air, boiler, electric heat, steam radiators, on-demand hot water heater, regular hot water heater, gas hot water heater, electric hot water heater, oil hot water heater. Like you should know these things. Lauren.
You actually just covered most of what I was just saying, is the importance of us knowing, right? If you don't know the pieces of a house, you need to. It's part of this profession. those basic things you need to know. And then part two is everything that you have kind of outlined here on the screen right now. I do have it written up in like a conversation script form in Critical Real Estate Conversations as well, within the same resource on this website. So if you want it in more of a conversation outline, I took all the questions from here and have outlined it that way.
Awesome. Who else has got some comments around this? What are you experiencing in the field? So other conversations, so that's the pre-conversation, right? Trying to pull out as much of that, we're trying to pull out as much as we can from the listing agent, and then we're trying to ease the anxiety that this deal is going to close. Right? That's what we're trying to do in the pre-conversations. So then after we're writing the offer, like Adam said, we're doing the text, we're making the phone call. Then there's to make sure that they got the offer, but then there's this like waiting period, right? And if you're just sitting and waiting to go, oh, I wonder if we got it, you're losing deals, right? You've got to get in there again and get another conversation in. Even if you ask for the last word, you got to go beg for that last word. Hey, just following up. I know you guys said you were making your decision Thursday at 5. This is Thursday morning now. Thursday at 5. I just want to reach out. I know you got my offer, but my buyers, they love this property. Is there anything else that we could do? Right? Where do we sit? How do I get this deal done for my buyers? I know this thing is going to close. I know you want it to close. We're ready to close. Is there anything that's holding you up from picking ours? See what they say. The worst thing that you're getting out of making these phone calls is they don't give you anything. But asking something like, is there anything that's preventing you from going with our offer is going to help you to get more deals. I thought I might have saw a hand go up.
Yeah, it was me, Steve. Sorry. I just a little bit more on that point and kind of what Adam was talking about earlier. I stepped onto an elevator and it cut out. So I don't know if you guys have already discussed it, but that pre-offer call, I know it's, at least to let the list agent know that the offer is on its way, but more importantly, to know before I even write the offer, what's the most important to the seller. To know how I can get accepted, especially if I know there's other offers on the table or expected offers to come in. That way I can write it and have a discussion with my buyers to see, because, if my buyers are comfortable offering a certain price or with specific details on the offer, we might do a little bit of modification after I speak to the list agent and I realize, hey, I know we were going to do this, but this is really, something that's a little bit more important to the seller. So maybe we'll tweak that offer before we actually send it over based on what they tell me. So I don't know if you already said that, but just wanted to throw that in.
Yeah, I mean, we touched on it, but always good to reiterate. Adam, go ahead, and then we're going to wrap it up with training available for today. Go ahead.
Hey, I'll make it quick. I'm on a mission as well as my health journey for the 30th time to do more social. And one of the ways I'm doing that is just what nugget can I pull out to make a video, right? So just in this one conversation alone, I've got 7 days of content that I could post as an agent on how I just helped my buyer, win a deal, right? We had pre-offer conversation, we had offer conversation, we had three-way text, questions about why it was under agreement and why it won't be under agreement with you, the email template, the buyer seminar, meaning, hey, you talk to your buyer through what to expect when they're buying a used house. And hey, we spent an hour at the house, understood the condition of the house, and relayed that to the agent. So if you're looking for video ideas, this call alone is probably enough, but just make sure you're trying to take your daily interactions and turn those into videos if you're looking for ideas.
Yeah, absolutely. A lot of nuggets in today's call. Appreciate everybody chiming in. Let me just pull up the training that is available today. If you want to sharpen your skills, Adam, your hand's still up. Did you want it still up? Oh, okay. So what do we have? Real estate mastery. We got another agent attraction course. I don't know what the real estate mastery mastermind and the real estate sales mastery workshop. Those are your 3 trainings available today. So real estate is just kind of mastering your craft, kind of looks like a general training, and then real estate sales mastery. So it's more of a scripts and dialogues class. So a couple of different options today. I always recommend to take 1 training a day, especially if you're newer to the business. See what you can learn. There's always something. What I love about the Real Academy trainings is they are today from agents that are doing business in today's market. This isn't something that got recorded, 3 years ago. This is now stuff. So it's what I love about the Daily Reel. We are talking about what's going on in the markets right now, what's working to get our offers accepted. And that's the same thing with these trainings. So again, just a reminder, next Tuesday at 2, please get that one in your calendar. We're going to start our first module, which is going to be around database. I'm excited to break this year out into these 2-week sprints and really dive deep into some of this stuff. So we got a few nuggets out of today's that we'll make sure when we do our offer writing and offer submission modules, we got some stuff to add in there. So appreciate you guys. Go crush your Friday, and we'll talk to you again on Monday morning. Take care.